Baby, I'm almost there. Flying, but I don't care. You and I, we don't die, we survive. You got me texting and crying, but it won't last. Leaving all the pain in the past. Toxicity with so much passion. All the best things, they never last, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are going to talk about Chapter 5. Now, I had this information for quite some time on Chapter 5, about a couple months. Yeah, I don't know what I've been thinking with content as of late. It's just kind of just doing random stuff here and there, but I kind of see the dip in views, so I think I need to bring this back. I was going to bring this back a while ago, but I just never got around to doing it. I've been busy with so many projects, canceled projects, life, college, just everything, and so I haven't really been making content. I don't know if this video underperforms. I don't know what I'm gonna do, honestly. Probably just gonna quit making content for quite a while until I feel that spark again. It's not like before where I was uploading like weekly and now it's just whatever, but anyways, today's video we're gonna talk about what was supposed to happen with Chapter 5, because there was some info released by this person right here, which I'm not too fond of, but hey, at least he released a bunch of information about some insider leaks that were going on during for a couple years. This was all the info the leakers were getting about collabs and just everything, and it says a lot about Chapter 5, which we're going to go over. Now, before we talk about Chapter 5, I want to go back and talk about Chapter 4 for a second here. More specifically, Fortnite OG. Now, Fortnite OG was going to be a way different thing than what we got. What we ended up getting was a lot better than what we were going to probably get here. So first of all, we would have stayed on Chapter 4. Already off to a bad start, as I did not like that map at all. Anyways, my opinions aside, what was supposed to happen was the season was going to be called Fortnite All-Stars. So you know those Mario games called Super Mario All-Stars or Super Mario 3D All-Stars? Fortnite was going to do their own sort of thing there. And essentially, each match, there would be a new POI from the past, from either Chapter 1 or 2. Now, it sounds like a cool concept, but again, it would have been on the Chapter 4 map. And that map, yeah, not fun, very buggy, and every match, there was supposed to be a new POI. Now, I'm guessing it would have been like the mechanic from Chapter 3, Season 3 with the reality trees. Each game, there'd be a new POI. But what ended up happening is Epic realized it was way too hard to do that. So they just said, fuck it, and they sent us to Chapter 1. Now, what's interesting here is both the Remix Pass and the Fortnite OG Pass were meant to be in the same Battle Pass, making it a full Battle Pass, which is why all these Chapter 2 Remix skins and Chapter 1 were on the same survey. And this is why they ended up splitting the passes into two. Now, this ended up making the Remix Pass freaking terrible. I mean, these skins are awful and ass, and they're just remix of the first two seasons, not even the third. I don't know, there's a lot to be said about Fortnite Remix itself. It's not a bad season, it's just the Battle Pass is just awful. Fortnite OG Pass though was pretty good, I ain't gonna lie. We weren't even gonna get Remix. It was just gonna be Fortnite All-Stars, and then we would have moved on to Fortnite Chapter 5. And yeah, so Chapter 4 would have had a season called All-Stars, and yeah. Also, these POIs would have been brought back by Kato Thorne's Time Machine, in case you're wondering if it wasn't obvious already. But yeah, really interesting, and this was the last season my insider worked on, and they have also confirmed this. I highly believe this whole document I have here on all this stuff, because 50% of it I can confirm with my own insider, which is why I believe all this stuff about Chapter 5 is true. Now we're gonna get into Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is a really interesting case, because would you believe me if I told you they did the same shit they did with Chapter 4? If you saw my last video, you know what I'm talking about. The same swapping around seasons, but they did it with Chapter 5 also, for whatever reason. And I'm so surprised they kept the story consistent with those seasons. Quite honestly, bro, this was it didn't work the first time. I don't know why they did it again. Anyway, my opinions aside. So, what were the order of Chapter 5 seasons supposed to be? Now, would you believe me if I told you we weren't supposed to start with Underground? We were actually supposed to start with Wrecked. There's a couple things I can confirm and show evidence of. First of all, the concept art of the original Chapter 4, which was just a Chapter 5 map. You can see the Wrecked biome there. You can also see the Underworld. So, I don't know. This was a concept image. The reason why we would have started with Wrecked is because after the Big Bang, a bunch of different realities would have been thrown onto chapter 5 and merged together, sort of like what happened with 4, but a little bit different. And we would have started with Erect, and the same stuff probably would have happened with Megalodon. Whether or not we would have been introduced to Jonesy and Hope yet, probably not, because Epic was doing this thing where like they wanted to avoid using the main characters for a little bit, but that's okay. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. Anyways, Megalodon still does his stuff with Pandora's box and makes the nitro fuel. I think that's what happens that season. And then the rig gets blown up by Doom. And yes, in season 2 would have been the grand return of Jonesy, most likely. I think maybe in season 1, Wrecked, we would have not had Jonesy and Hope, and then Captain Jones would have showed up. It's kind of weird that Jonesy went from not being shaved to be clean shaved, and then going back to not being shaved in chapter 6. Well, this is because chapter 5 season 4 was meant to be chapter 5 season 2. This is why that season also didn't have an proper end event for chapter 5. It's because Absolute Doom was supposed to be season 2. As to why they probably switched this around, I think Disney had something to do with it with D23, because I remember chapter 5 season 4 being announced at D23. Probably what ended up happening, and why chapter 5 seasons got switched around. Anyways, same stuff would have happened. Jonesy, and Hope teamed up with Marvel heroes to take down Doom, and then he go bye-bye, and no more Doom. So, but here's the interesting part. Doom probably would have been messing with Pandora's box like he was before, and this is how Pandora's box would have been introduced. It would have been introduced in season 2, or at the end of season 1, and Doom would have been the one to use it. So here's where the interesting part comes in. When we get to season 3, Underground, the reason why Valeria has that emote where she like changes her outfit is because she got powers from Pandora's box, and she was a crazy Midas obsessed fan. And by the way, this plotline about her being a crazy Midas obsessed fan got reused in Lawless with what's her name, Quinn something, which is I find kind of funny, but they reused the plot line there. So Valeria was going to be a Midas obsessed fan and wanted to recreate Ghost and Shadow. That's why all that Ghost and Shadow stuff shows up in chapter 5, is because she was a fan of that. And that's probably why Midas would have returned, and that's why Midas's crew was there and all that. And it's really interesting what they would have done. And the whole war between the Underground and the Society would have still happened the same. This time Jonesy would have rocked a beard, Jonesy and Hope would have been already established, all that stuff would have happened. As for POIs, I have no idea how they would have done Snooty Steps. Maybe Snooty Steps would have been originally destroyed and then it would have been restored. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, this season specifically would have played out a little bit different than what we've gotten, because it wouldn't have been a starting season, which I find really interesting. Continuing on here, Valeria would have opened Pandora's box instead of taking its powers this time, I think. Sort of like what happened in the original season. And then the final season would have been Myths and Mortals. Myths and Mortals honestly feels more like a finale season, because you have all these gods and electricity and stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the same things would have played out. But one more thing I want to point out from this season is the reason why this event is so polished at the end of Myths and Mortals was because that was supposed to be chapter 5's end event. Keep in mind, there wasn't supposed to be Remix originally. Remix was a last minute idea. And this is also why in the event music, you can hear the end event music. Take a listen. And out of all the events, the Sandstorm event is the most polished one out of chapter 5, because the other ones were kind of crappy. Anyways, so yeah, we would have ended with Myths and Mortals and then gone straight into chapter 6. Now, what do I think of all the swapped around seasons? I don't know why they did it again. It didn't work the first time, but the end of chapter 5 was just awful, man. Like, the actual thing we got, the end of it was bad. Chapter 5 itself wasn't terrible, I don't think. Like, the season's really good. The voice lines, quest lines, all that was really fun. Quite honestly, I mean, not a bad chapter. It just ended horribly. And if we were supposed to get Wrecked and Absolute Doom first and then ended with the Myths and Mortals event, feel like chapter 5 would have sat well with more people, but as the seasons were, it worked. Now, I'm pretty sure that's all the information I can give you about, like, all this stuff. There's also one piece of information I find funny. The reason why some of the Season 1 and 2 skins in Chapter 5 were kind of bad was because Eminem was taking up all the resources because he wanted constant revisions on his skin. That's why skins like Peter Griffin were underdeveloped and not given a proper fat style. I don't think any of the Chapter 5, Season 2, or 1 skins were actually that bad. I'm just saying that a lot of them were underdeveloped. But as for Eminem, I thought that would be funny. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Bro just wanted his skin to be perfect, but I guess it took a lot of resources. Also, Chapter 5 was in development hell for a little bit because of all the metaverse modes. So, yeah. But that's about it. I mean, this will probably be the last installment in these videos. Oh, wait, I need to still talk about Chapter 2 and 1 scrapped content, but that'll be a longer video because those are a lot more seasons I have to cover. I don't know when that video will come out, but yeah, but once those videos are out, that's about it for like scrapped content when it comes to Fortnite and what was supposed to be, unless there's more information released about Chapter 6, as I feel there's stuff in Chapter 6 that was kind of odd. Like, we went from a Japan theme to a gangster theme, and, you know, Star Wars and all that, you know. If any information on how Chapter 6 was originally supposed to be comes out, I will cover that. But, I highly doubt anything will come out, as, my insider got let go during the development during OG. This document doesn't have really anything about Chapter 6 other than a few leaks that were going on at the time. This is an outdated, like, leak roadmap thing. There's a lot of info on here. I'm going to link it down below so you guys can go read. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Oh yeah, including how there was a fist fight over in Epic Games about how long the flip event was supposed to take. That's a bit funny, and didn't know they were so childish over there. Anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Oh yeah, and use code Arkselta when you're going to pick anything up in the shop, because it will greatly support me and my venture out into the Fortnite world. I'm so cringe, bro. What am I even doing anymore?